Gen Z is beyond cooked. I feel like I'm qualified to say this. You know, I'm born in 1997, so I'm actually the elder statesman. I'm actually the last guard, if you will. I am the last year that qualifies to be Gen Z, so I can talk about this, guys. Gen Z is beyond cooked because essentially you are the generation that is really hung out to dry. I mean, millennials definitely did notice it. They noticed, a lot of the things that the boomers got because, guys, let's be honest, we, as Gen Z, we get a bad rep. Oh, we're the iPad kids. The first iPad kids were actually boomers with the TV. So, guys, when it comes to Gen Z, a lot of the things that people say about our generation, about Generation Z, is false. They mislabel us. And it's unfortunate because all they have to do is acknowledge the uncomfortable truth. The uncomfortable truth is that the systems that allow prosperity for the baby boomers are falling apart and slowly deteriorating. These systems, they were very prosperous at the time, but to say a lot of us aren't successful because we're not pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, well, that's true to an extent, but then what about the people in the baby boomer generation who were able to become successful with mediocrity, who were able to buy their house for 20, 30,000 and it might have a net worth of 300,000, 400,000 today, literally 10x in their investment. These are things that are a product of the time period, not how hard someone worked. Now, I believe hard work is important. I believe hard work, determination, belief in oneself, that's everything. But I do like to acknowledge the truth. I do like to acknowledge that the younger generation is getting a bad rep because at the end of the day, we're being interpreted as having a weaker work ethic, when in reality, a lot of the systems that allowed previous generations to be mediocre are falling apart. Social Security, some people aren't going to see that in Gen Z. And it's because it's running dry. Housing, buying a house, I'm sorry, I can't go back in time and buy my house for $30,000, $40,000. Where I live right now, houses are like $1 million. So is that a product of not working hard, or is it a product of times changing? This is what needs to be acknowledged. Another thing we're just gonna be honest, Gen Z is victim to a lot of things that a lot of other generations are not victim to. These things include dopamine, just being everywhere, just dopamine. Gen Z is dopamine maxing, and I'm not blaming anyone watching this video. Like, you do need to take accountability over your life, but there is something to be said about having a phone that, growing up, having a phone, having access to unlimited pleasure, essentially. You got to think, guys. In the medieval days, if you had food delivered to you, you were an aristocrat. You were someone in a very high position. You have the capability to have food ordered to your house as if you're a king. You can eat capacities of food that are equivalent to what kings ate, guys. This is what we don't realize about what's going on in this era of humanity. A lot of the conveniences we have, the conveniences, are things that people had in medieval ages that distinguish them from peasants. And the average person has that. The average peasant in America, the average peasant in Gen Z is able to live life like a king. And this actually is corrupt. This makes us more, not lazy, but this makes us more prone to chasing dopamine, to quick fixes. So someone in a previous generation, if they wanted to see some explicit content, they would open up a magazine. So even though we're doing the same act of chasing pleasure, them reading it, them looking at it is less visually draining, less visually damaging than you looking at it on your phone, guys, because you can click the next video, the next video, the next video. Eventually they would run out of magazines. So there's a lot of crutches that are disguised as conveniences that Gen Z has to put up with, guys. A lot of crutches disguised like they're conveniences, disguised like these are, oh, this is great. I can get all the food I want. Yeah, till it kills you. Oh, this is great. I can watch all the explicit material I want. Yeah. So you have no energy and motivation. Yeah. I can swipe and date all these women I want. Yeah. Until you become desensitized and it's hard for you to form a relationship. You see what I mean? Like, everything seems like it's a convenience, but it's actually a con. And this is the environment we grew up in. And we didn't have previous generations to warn us about it because it's new. So we're the first generation that has to deal with all these new sets of crutches. And yet we take the most blame, and yet we're only bashed and we're not uplifted. So I always found that to be very interesting. Like, why? Why do these previous generations, why are they so reluctant to acknowledge some of the hardships that we face? And it's because if they acknowledge in their mind, if they acknowledge some of the hardships that we face, even though it's very real and it's very much in front of them, it's easier to be in denial about it because someone's got to take the responsibility. And let's be honest, responsibility is very tough. It's very hard for people to take, but I mean, it's just the truth. It's just the truth. Okay, boomer is a thing, guys. It is a thing, and it's, you know, boomers are catching it as they rightfully should, because these things are just easy to acknowledge. These things are easy to see. We're not making them up. As time goes on, as late stage capitalism kicks in, someone's got to bear the weight when, you know, the music stops. Someone's got to foot the bill. Someone's got to do it. They don't want to do it. So again, guys, like when it comes to Gen Z, let's show some grace. If you're older watching this video, you come from a different generation, show some grace, because we are dealing with a completely different set of problems that the world we're still figuring it out. We're still getting it together. We're still fighting. And, you know, I just couldn't stand it. Like, you just hear how the older generation talks about Gen Z. You would think, like, I'm sorry, did the human DNA change? Or I thought the times changed. People don't usually change, it's the times that change. So we got to be acknowledged. Like, if I grew up in the boomer generation, it would 100% change how I go about life and change how I think. So yeah, boomer, if you grew up as a Gen Z, you would understand exactly where we're coming from. Why don't you think you would? Times change. People, by and large, do not change. The systems and the time, the environment is bigger than everything. So we have to acknowledge the environment that Gen Z has been dropped into. It is different. And another thing is, it's a different relationship with authority, because previous generations were actually able to have prosperous periods in America, periods where appealing to authority was beneficial. They have a different relationship with authority. They trust authority more. They want to vote. They want to work within the system. They're a lot more willing to work within the system. You look at these political rallies, it's a lot of older people there for a reason, guys. It's because, guys, these people have benefited at least once or twice from these systems in place. A lot of people in Gen Z can't say the same, and people need to be understanding of that. We've got to understand that, hey, like, money was something that actually did have value in your generation. It is being burned. It is being printed rapidly. As soon as we became adults, it's deteriorating. So we have a very different relationship with authority. We are less trusting of authority. And at the end of the day, I think that's a positive. When it comes to authority should be willing to earn our trust. Why are we just surrendering our trust? Oh, you're in authoritative position. You're a congressman, so I just trust you. You're this, insert this, and I just trust you. No. Show me why I should trust you. Because worst case scenario, you just reiterate why I should have trusted you. And best case scenario, you reiterate why I should have trusted you. Worst case scenario, you actually show me why I should have never trusted you. So that's actually where I think Gen Z shines the most. We are willing to question this corrupt reality. We are willing to go out on a limb and fight for what's right and to be a pain in the system's ass, because we understand that just because something has a title does not mean it has substance. So take pride in that if you are Gen Z watching this video. And if you aren't Gen Z, I want you to just be sympathetic to some of the points that I've made in this video. It's Dipsy. I'm going to catch you guys later, and be on the lookout for more content. And remember, with enough hard work, determination, and belief in oneself, anyone is capable of becoming a true champion.